All right, perfect, y'all. So today we have another gentleman. He's been absolutely killing it with us. We've known each other for, I want to say, like maybe 4 months, going on 5 months. Started doing the age leads, transitioned into the instant leads, does a mixture of instant and text verified. But outside of just being a great life insurance agent, I think this person is an amazing human just from me having conversations with them. So I have none other than my brother, Nick. Nick, I appreciate you for hopping on today.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to be here. Thank you so much, Trey. Y'all have been awesome to, my guys, my team and I, and yeah, excited to be here.
For sure, man. So for context,
Yeah,
how did we get here? Give us a quick little synopsis. How did you get into the life insurance like space in general?
absolutely. So I actually, for almost 6 years, I was in tech sales and for some like HR recruiting software and tech. You probably know some of those names. If you've applied for a job, you know exactly what it is. And I was actually a sales engineer for the back half of that. Oversaw our New York office's sales strategy, new product launches, and all the sales strategies around that. And so I oversaw a lot of high level sales folks, all that sort of thing. But it was corporate. And so with corporate comes a lot of constraints, interesting initiatives, and it's just not, you get capped, And so they did a massive layoff. And my plan has always been, if things go south and I need to make good money quick, I'm just going to go life insurance 1099. And I was at a phase, I got a wife and a 1 year old son, and I'm like looking at other corporate options, other sales options. What am I going to do? And so I wanted to be independent. Life insurance has always been, on the table, and this is somewhere that I can go at my pace. I don't have to deal with silly quotas or, some weird metrics. I can just sell and eat what I kill, And so that's really what moved me into the life insurance space, was kind of the sales side of things, but we're also providing a product that's relevant, that makes sense for people and helps families. What else could you ask for?
Right.
Now it's just up to me and my skill set and my discipline. And I'll bet on that most days.
What does that mean as a life insurance agent to you?
Yeah, I've been learning a lot in the life insurance space. And it's funny, there's actually a lot of unlearning I've had to do moving from tech. It was very complicated over there. We're presenting decks, sales presentations that were 30 slides to COOs and all of this, very high level, lots of data. Well, coming here, we're talking to people, not businesses, right? And so when it comes to the discipline, a lot of it for me has been discipline and mindset of staying positive, showing up every day. We're independent. So it's easy to sit at your computer and look like you're doing something all day and feel like you're doing something all day. What is my plan going into the day? Who am I going to be calling? What leads am I working? I think just having a very simple, basic plan for your day to maximize chunks of time is a huge discipline. Making sure you have a calendar, it's very basic. And the basics are good, and that's what I want it to be. The problem is that it seems so simple that they're easy to do. They're just as easy not to do. So if you don't have the basics in place, have a calendar, keep your notes on your clients. Those little disciplines make this a much smoother ride. And then just showing up, not just sitting in your seat, but actually being intentional with what you're doing at your desk. I know it seems very simple, but in the beginning, I got on a little late because I'm like, hey, it's my money. I'll show up, I'll sleep in today. I rarely made money on those days. I'm on West Coast time. What about all those East Coast leads? And I'm sleeping in on time every morning, typically a little bit earlier, not just for others, but for myself.
What is your schedule and what is your answer to that person who asked you that?
It really depends on your goals. I'm on, 7:30 at the latest my time. When daylight savings time and all that shifts, that might shift as well. But really maximizing the mornings, maximizing your afternoons, evenings, because there's folks that are getting off of work. And especially with some of the IUL leads, which we might talk about down the road here, a lot of these folks are still working. Are you available for that money? Is really the mindset I'm going to be saying that I say to my new agents is, hey, somebody is going to call this person and they're going to have confidence and they're going to write them a policy. Are you going to be available to do that? Well, I like my mornings, all this. That's fine. It's your choice. You know what I'm saying?
Right. What is your mindset when you see a list of leads And then my second question is your mindset different? We'll get into this with age leads versus with fresh leads.
Dude, both really good questions. When I see a list of leads, it was funny. I was just telling a friend of mine who's not in sales, never been in sales, dude, there's nothing more exciting than having a list of leads and a phone in your hand. Coming from my background, the fact that we can have a list of leads and a phone in our hand, and that's all we need, maybe a script. The simplicity here is one of the most valuable parts of modern life insurance agents' life. This is simple. All you got to do is call, make sure you stay on top of it, and then read a script. Most of the scripts today work. Where I came before, there was so many checking this box, updating this, the lead. It just got so complicated from all the corporate and the bureaucracy of it. It was silly. Here, I see a list of leads and I go, there is money there that I can get. And all I have to do is sit down and call. This is video games at that point. Do you see what I'm saying? Whereas some people go, oh my goodness, I got to call through this whole list. What if nobody picks up and all this? Dude, you're going to ride an emotional roller coaster every day that is going to exhaust you. You're not going to be the best person to your coworkers or to the people in your life outside of work if you're going to be riding that roller coaster every single day. And that kind of lends itself to the discipline question too, of like, you got to stay disciplined up here. Otherwise, you're not going to be a good person when you come out of your office and you talk to your wife or your roommates. You see what I'm saying? So my mindset, when I see a list of leads and I got a phone in my hand, I go, wow, that's a blessing, because there are businesses out there. There are ways of producing income out there that when you have to manually go knock doors. You got to manually meet people in the marketplace, like in something like network marketing or something like that. Whereas here, I could just get a list and dial in one spot. Come on now. That is great. And I'm stoked. There's money in there, and may the best man find it. That's my mindset when I have a list of leads and a phone in my hand. So mindset wise, there is a difference. The difference is in my action and maybe the first 10 seconds of the call, but eventually it all comes to the same point, right? I have my script. I run through, I'm getting them a policy, pointing them in the right direction, guiding them as a licensed professional, whatever. But those first couple seconds are a little bit different with age leads versus very fresh leads. Fresh leads, I'll start there. I'm calling them this as soon as I can. When I know I have fresh leads dripping in, I want to make sure I am close to my desk more often than not, because nothing sucks more than when you buy a pack of leads and in, the first couple of days, you don't close anything. Well, dude, these people are inquiring and they're in a buying mindset for a period of time. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. And when they fill out a form, they're hot. They're get in front of them as soon as possible. Well, I want to give them a minute. No, think about your life. You fill out something online, or you do something on social media. 5 minutes later, you're making dinner. You're going to the next thing. You're taking your kids to practice, whatever it is. You're getting back to work. I want you right then and there. Do you see what I'm saying? So getting in front of them as fast as possible is going to be the big thing. With aged leads, my mindset is smile and dial. I look at age leads as like prank calls. I know that can seem unprofessional, but you're going to get some riled up folks. I don't care where you get your age leads, whatever. These folks typically, when they fill out one form, they're filling out a couple others too. So you could be getting the best age leads from here, but at the end of the day, they're getting hit up. Some people get salty about it. And, if you're easy to talk to, you're light on your feet, you're light in your head, you can pivot some of those to having some good conversations and even close a deal. The thing about age leads is you get more for less. And so there's certain ratios that come with it, but you could be profitable off of one deal, very profitable off of one deal. And so your mindset's a little bit different. It could be a little bit grindier. There's more work that goes involved, or that's involved in a longer list of age leads. But at the end of the day, if your first couple seconds you're going at it like, hey, I just saw you inquired, the first person, on the other side of that, they're going to go, well, I inquired 3 months ago, stop freaking calling me. But if you're going, hey, I know you inquired a little bit ago, still had your file here. Has someone helped you? At worst, what I've gotten on age leads is, yeah, I've already been helped. Thank you so much for following up though. And you just ask another question. Some of them work out, some of them don't. I think age leads are also a great place to test out your skills, put the moves on some folks too. And it's more reps. All it takes is one deal to be profitable off a pack of age leads. That's it. So have fun, you know? So for me, my mindset is the same, but sometimes the application of it looks a little different. With age leads, I'm going, hey, look, let's get down to brass tacks. You know, I still had your file. Look, don't shoot the messenger, sort of vibe, hat in hand. Has someone actually helped you or not quite yet? Working agent lead labs, aged IULs. I've worked a handful of different of your age leads. I've had multiple people that go, no, I haven't been able to get in touch with anybody yet. I've sold deals from your age leads that way in the last couple months. So you know what I mean?
Right.
So whereas with the fresh ones, you want to be on it quick. Hey, you filled this out. What are we doing? Where were you at? Let me help you.
What are you saying on the intro, and what is the kind of process? You don't have to do the full script, but just how are you
Yeah.
thinking through those fresh leads, and what are you saying?
Yeah. And I will say in general, I've had some slow weeks and I've learned a lot and I've unlearned a lot to answer this question here. Because I was very technical prior. And that's what was valued in, previous sales roles and all this. Here, confidence and tonality are going to matter. What I've found so far and what I've seen from top producers, because I study these cats, right? People work all kinds of leads, all different scripts, all different styles, and somebody somewhere is making it work, right? And so for me, nobody is going to say no, or sorry, nobody's going to say yes to something they're confused about, even if it's the best thing for them. And so for me, in the beginning, I'm very, very chill, but I keep a pace to it. If you build too much rapport, you end up building a lot of trust with no authority. So I try to avoid that. So with the fresh leads, I'm calling them, hey, is this blank? Yeah. Hey, this is Nick. Hey, we just had your inquiry here. You were looking into potential options. I'm not giving them the options yet. Potential options for an IUL. Did I catch you at a good time? Just straight to the question. It's a very simple intro, not complicated. I'm not going, hey, my name's Nick. I'm a professional broker in the state of Arizona or tech, whatever. And I've looked to have your file here. Dude, people are like, dude, I just don't have time for that. I have found some people work really well. They find their niche being this financial advisor esque, very consultative, all this. Here's what I've found so far. And I'm just giving you the real thing, full transparency. These are consumers, not business owners. Most of the time, we're not selling $5,000 a month IULs where they're doing these Rockefeller level IULs. These are normal people and they want to talk to a normal person. I have legitimately lost deals because I was being too professional or getting too fancy. And it wasn't even that fancy, but it was the response I got from 3 different people. All this happened all in 1 week. This is a couple months ago. 3 different states. They didn't know each other. All gave me the same response. They texted me and said, I have a lot going on in life right now, and I just can't get my head around the IUL. So we're going to have to revisit in a few months. This is just too complicated right now. And it hit me. And I was like, wow, I'm overcomplicating it for like $100 a month IUL. Do you see what I'm saying? And so my script, my talk, the way I talk, I want it to be digestible. My number 1 priority is that they can comprehend. My number 2 priority is having a pace and letting them know, hey, we can look at rates, but we want to make sure we could qualify you first. We're going to look at a simplified issue so we can find out here on the phone. So that intro is very simple. Did I catch you at a good time? Even if they're like, yeah, I got like 2 minutes. What's up? That's what my intro looks like. And then I want to keep it simple. And I reference to a lot of folks like, hey, I use phrases like, this is what most folks do. This is what most folks are going to be looking at it for. This is why most folks look at a whole life. This is why most folks, you see what I'm saying? Because a lot of these people, they're living life. They're surviving life. And when they can feel that comfort of, hey, this is what a lot of most folks are doing, they go, okay, there's a sense of comfort there. It's not always, we could get into the psychology of that. And I'll ask them a couple of general questions like, hey, major surgeries, major conditions, early in the call. And let me back up. After that intro, I go, hey, so what we're going to do, quick needs analysis. And then from there, if we can find a policy that makes sense, we'll see if we can actually qualify you. Just takes a couple minutes here on the phone. The reason I do that is I want to give them a frame of like, here's what we're going to do. I think what we forget is sometimes when we get too salesy, we forget that we're a guide. A lot of these folks have never had a professional just guide them through a process for anything. So you can really set yourself apart by just very simple stuff like that. I'll ask them the general stuff to go, hey, is it worth it to even try, for an IUL versus whole life? Gives me a general frame to go, hey, if you just got done with, cancer, congrats, you beat it, all that. Your qualification chances for certain things are slim to none, right? So I'm going to pivot. That lets me know what direction to go in, which carrier is going to make the most sense for them. Does that make sense? And then from there I go, but hey, wait, this isn't for sure yet. Let's make sure we can get you qualified. The reason, have you ever, we don't have cats, but trying to get a cat inside the house is crazy. You open the door and the cat just sits there on the door. The second you start closing the door, it runs in. People work very similar, and that scarcity creates value or demand. And so I've had a lot of folks that are like, I just want prices. And then as you kind of talk through it and you go, but here's the thing. These are just numbers on a screen right now. We want to make sure we can actually qualify you for this. And then we could decide where to go from there. Now you're in the application and you can build that anticipation. And what I found is that at least half the time at that point, if they started off going, I just want numbers, I don't want to do anything today. What I have found is, well, a lot of them, by the time they're in the application, they're going, well, I want to see if I could qualify. And then at the end, you say, wow, congrats. And they're like, all right, when can we get this in place?
Correct. So he's already went through age IUL. He went through the instant. I want to break down what's the difference that you've experienced between the instant and the text verified, and why do you prefer the instant is what I want to know.
Dude, I like my guys and I all are kind of on the same page. The instance, you get more. Here's the thing. I don't mind age leads. I think a lot of folks hate age leads. They're grindier. Yeah, you got to talk to more people. You're going to get more salty people. Treat them like prank calls, man. Like laugh it off and see how far you could get with somebody, like we talked about earlier, right? But age leads are always going to be there, whether the market is up or the down or whatever. Age leads are always there. If you can win on age leads, you can always win. You can always pay your bills. Whereas, the fresh ones, sometimes the market's different. We just had the holidays and sometimes that can impact. And so I love the age leads. The thing is, it could be a lot of work. And I want to, as we scale, I'm helping other people on board. I don't always have the bandwidth to be cranking age leads 8 hours straight. You know what I mean? And so the fresh ones create a little bit more of like efficiency and effectiveness with your time. And the instant leads, they're not text verified from my understanding. And they're, you can use the autofill function from my understanding. So the way I see the instant IUL leads is they are right in between. You get the volume that you would get with age leads, and you get them a heck of a lot cheaper. I shouldn't say cheaper, just at less of a cost, but you get them fresh. And I just think that they're a fantastic middle ground between age leads and full on fresh leads. We will order 50 at a time of the instant IULs, but you got to be smart if you want to maximize it.
Talk about it.
You got to call them right away. We found, me and my guys that have ran these, I track things. I'm very analytical, sometimes to a fault. Ian's another guy that I know you've interviewed, and he and I, we're not even on the same team. We have no financial incentive, but he and I are always bouncing stuff off. We talk on the phone all the time. And good dude.
Okay.
A lot. But with these instant IULs, like I'm tracking, you got to call them right away if you want to get the most out of it. And you're going to win no matter what you're on these. But if you buy a pack of 50 or even 100, you close one IUL deal, you're profitable, and they're fresh. Come on now. Well, if you're worried about quality and stuff, I would challenge you to go, well, I would worry less about the quality and more about your skill set, straight up. I mean, you're in the lead game. I'm on this side of it. Everybody. And I've found myself even going, man, these leads, with other vendors or whatever. And I'm like, if I just have better leads, welcome to a tale old as time. Everybody's complained about leads in every industry since humanity started, dude. So with these instances, you got to be quick on the jump. Also, it's important that you have some form of a system in place. IULs are a higher level product. This isn't just straight whole life. You know, you're talking to people, most of them have jobs. And I know it's like, well, duh. Well, if you go work final expense leads for a period of time, you're going to find, wow, this is a whole family living off of one social security paycheck. That's more common than I'd like to admit. And it's unfortunate, and we can help those folks out, but these are IUL inquiries. These are people looking to supplement retirement. Whereas there's a lot of leads out there that these people have no retirement. They're going to work till they die, unfortunately. These are, I don't want to say upper echelon, but these are a little bit more established folks. They have stronger incomes. They make more than 30K a year. They have money. They're actually in a position in life to where they can go, I'm going to spend a X amount of money for my future. That's not the majority of folks. So when you're looking at IULs, you are talking to a little bit different people, but they're still people, and the simplicity still matters. It's just not a matter of, hey, I just don't get it. It's more of a matter of, hey, I'm busy in my life. If I can't, I don't have the bandwidth to go understand it. Having a system in place that drip texts and all of that is very important. A lot of these folks are busy. They're still working jobs. A lot of the instant IULs are 40, 50 years old. You know, you get some 60-year-old, 60s in there. Every once in a while, I'll get someone who's old, or older than that, but it's not often. And so that 40 to 50 age group, they're in their back half of their careers. A lot of them make 70K plus a year, or you see what I'm saying? And they're working 40 plus hours a week. So having a drip system, whether you're doing it manually and you're texting them once a week, trying them at different times, my guys and I, we use Ringy. I love Ringy. If you can set up your preset text, just take the time, do it once. Now you can share that with the rest of your squad. It's huge. It's huge. And you got to stay in front of these people because we're in a, not to get complicated here, we are in an attention economy. These folks are seeing ads for everything, every industry, all the time. If you don't stay in front of them, you're going to lose them and they'll forget, right? So Ringy at a very good price allows us to stay in front of these leads. A lot of them will close. Some of them will close in that first week. Some of them will close 2 or 3 weeks later. And now you're stacking your lead packs and you got to build a little lead machine. And then you get to a point to where, okay, I'm closing week 2 leads. I'm closing leads from a month ago, and I'm also closing fresh leads. And that's how you scale past making $8,000 a month as a life. Like your lead machine, there's intentionality behind it. So the instant IULs, sorry, I got off on a couple tangents there, but you got to be quick. You got to keep them simple. These folks are busy, and you got to get them at the best times. I'll be honest. There are some nights I work pretty late for the IUL leads because it's just so worth it. And if you keep it simple for them, your calls shouldn't be, my calls at max, I mean, this is if I'm going long, are an hour. And so in my head, IULs are also generally a higher premium. It's a higher commission. In my head, I go, sure, I'll take a call at 6 p.m. my time because I could potentially make $2,000. And some of my calls are 30 minutes, even for the IULs. You're talking to sharper people generally. So if you keep it simple, you can move pretty quick and have a lot of freedom in your day too. That's why I like the instance, because there's more volume to stack over time too. I like having a longer list, and they come in at a great price. They're they're the perfect medium between age leads, a lot of reps, a lot of volume, and you're getting the benefit of fresh. I think simplicity is the biggest thing. I've lost deals off of trying to get too fancy and being overly professional. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a life insurance broker or agent, whatever you want to call it. And that simplicity is key, making sure the money is there. I think the folks that don't make it and move industries are the ones who don't accept that fact. It has to be a fact in your head. Write it down, look at it I don't know. The money is there. Am I putting myself in a position to get it? That's what it comes down to. And then I think that umbrella is like, jump on a little bit earlier if you need to. Hang around a little bit longer than you need to. Go to the gym in the middle of the day if that's what it takes. I think your calendar is important. Recognizing, hey, I need to get in front of these people, and then attacking your list. You get 50, IUL leads, freaking 50, dude. That's a lot. That's a good amount. And they're fresh. And they come in at such a good price that it's so easy. It's so much more available to scale for my new guys who can't, throw down 1,200, 1,500 bucks for a pack. If they fumble a deal with the instant IULs, I'm like, okay, there's 10, 12 bucks. We don't need to freak out. You get to learn and get those reps in and get better and also make money.
For the mortgage leads,
Yeah.
I want you to, because side caveat, y'all. I didn't even know this is before Nick knew to post his sales in the
Yeah.
chat. I didn't even know he was closing these. He had bought a pack of these leads. We did the mortgage leads, and I didn't hear from him. And then we
Yes.
talked like a month later, and he got the instance. And then like 2 months into him running the instance, I was like, "Hey man, whatever happened with the mortgage?" He's like, "Yeah, bro, I closed a few." I was like, "What?" So for those that are watching or have watched our videos, you all know one of my good friends, Ian. He's been on here. But can you just walk people through like from when I put the introduction together to you running the leads and kind of like figuring it out, and then kind of can you just walk us through like why that
Yeah.
was and just that process?
Yeah, absolutely. When I came to you, I had some very poor experiences with some previous lead vendors. And I was newer than I think I let on to just life insurance in general. But again, I'm on a great team. I believe I have the best upline ever. And, you've talked to Mikey and Chloe, my guy, my team, and they're my uplines there. I'm on a great team. And they helped me a lot too. They were like, Nick, you need to pause. And I'm like, I'm here to go. I'm not here to wait around. So I went out trying these different vendors and all this, and I spent my own money and I got a little ahead of myself, if I'm being honest. And so I finally was like, man, this has been weird. And so I saw Agent Lead Labs and I was like, let's get on. You guys were like, hey, let's get on a call. And I was like, you're not just going to take my money. And it was the first time I had a lead vendor walk me through. Here's what we do. Here's why we're different. Here's even some of what the ads are going to look like. Like just the transparency was there. And I was like, okay, take my money. And you had recommended mortgage protection. I'd never ran them before, truthfully. And with some help of the team, some other folks ran a lot of those back in the day. And most folks were running vets and all this. And you were like, I like doing what's different than what everybody else is doing. I said, I agree. Let's do mortgage protection. Closed a couple out of those. Here's my experience, like more of a technical background and explaining concepts. For whatever reason, it was just a good match with mortgage protection leads. They can be more complicated. A lot of folks come in expecting to cover their full mortgage. Not everybody can do that. Especially when they're 63 and they're going, yeah, I do very well. I want a $500,000 policy. And you're like, buddy, this isn't going to be $20 a month for you. And they're like, oh, I'll just get a term policy. It'll be $40 a month. And I'm like, so what do you do when you have a massive sticker shock and all this? Well, you got to pivot, right? And explain a different concept to them. How do you do that? Right. And so I think that's not always everybody's cup of tea. It does require a little bit more skill set. But again, once you figure it out and you can simplify it for them, you're in the game. So that's like the overarching thing and what I did to close a couple of those was, hey, and this is the line that works in my experience. Sometimes before I even jump into anything, if they're like, hey, I want a $250,000 policy, but I'm 68. Okay, you got an extra $2,000 a month. I'm going to take a look into this. I'm going to look into our options. Absolutely. And I'm going to do that right here with us. I'm just going to give you a heads up while I'm crunching these numbers for us. Sometimes covering the whole mortgage, pulling out a policy like that is almost like pulling out a second mortgage in terms of payment. And a lot of the times, some folks will go, yeah, I've been looking at rates. Some idiot tried to say it was going to be $1,200 a month, and you go, yeah, sometimes it's almost like pulling out a second mortgage. Here's the thing. We have other options that might be worth it more to explore as I look at these numbers. So just keep that in mind. We might need to look at something like equity protection. Okay. And I just plant that seed. And then when I look at the numbers, I go, oh, this is going to be $800 a month for you when you're trying to keep it at 200. I'll write that down, but then I'm going to go, what's your mortgage payment? Also, before this, I want their mortgage payment, how much is left, and who's going to be responsible for the house, because I want to use their name. I want to make it personal. These folks are homeowners. They're sharper. Having a system like Ringy, a place where they can see a website, book an appointment, stuff like that. And I got a lot of this from Ian. I know he did a video with you, an interview, and I watched that video probably 3 times. Being more professional is more important with mortgage protection. But, I'll go, hey, look, your mortgage payment, let's multiply that by 12. Instead of covering the full mortgage, what if Nancy is going to be your wife or whatever? God forbid something happens to you. Nancy has at least 12 months of payments. She's got a year to decide what to do with the house. And then we'll look at a whole life policy, or, if they're young enough, even potentially an IUL, a basic IUL to cover 2 years of payments. And that's going to get paid out up front. Just a little trick there. I shouldn't say trick, but, tip. And then they're like, oh, for $200 a month, you'll cover 2 years worth of payments or something like that? Absolutely. And it'll be paid out tax-free. That way your Nancy or whoever, your wife, doesn't have to get rid of the house in 30 to 60 days. One of the leads from your mortgage pack, the mortgage protection pack, called and left me a voicemail saying our neighbor, good friends of ours, husband died and she has to move out and she doesn't know what to do. She had 30 days to move out. She left a voicemail with that. And I was like, wow, okay. That's not just a great sale here that you already see the value. I'm going to use that story to share with my other leads. And I have. People love to be able to say, I have a guy, I got a guy for that. People love that. And that doesn't come from you being a drill sergeant. And here's the other thing. A lot of people don't like the age leads or the instant, or they don't like when they call somebody and they go, I've been hit up 10 times. But when you're doing the right thing for people, you love that. Not that happens on a lot of these leads here, but I'm thinking like even to the age leads, and a lot of these folks, they will shop around, especially in mortgage protection. These people they're more financially savvy. They shop around. And so they've talked to other people. That to me, I go, boom, done deal, because you haven't talked to me. And I'm going to be the first human you talk to or first person that doesn't have commission breath. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to be your guy. Let's just talk like a neighbor.
Right.
So.
Right. No, I appreciate that. Taking a quick hard right. Now let's talk about Agent Lead Lab. Tell us about your experience with us thus far, man. Briefly talk about what you made, but also I know how much you appreciate our team because you tell me
Yeah.
often. But yeah, man, if you could just talk about like the floor is yours. Tell us about your
Cool.
experience, business, the whole 9 yards, just about working with us here, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. In the beginning, what surprised me the most was that y'all wanted to talk to me. And if I'm not careful, like my natural state is like type A, let's go, get out of my way type. I'm like, why do you guys want to talk to me? And it has turned out to be one of the very valuable thing here because we actually have a partnership, you could say, a relationship. Y'all actually care. You give a damn. And then something that I think has separated y'all from the other vendors, other folks that I've tried to work with, all this, you're available. And I've got a list of names of people on your team that have helped me out with certain things or one of my guys. And so Discord, I could put a chat in there and someone will respond in a timely manner and will help out. That to me has been fantastic. There's transparency. Whereas, with a lot of other lead vendors, you go on, I don't know who works there. There's no way for me to find out, but I'll buy a pack and they'll drip in. Sometimes those in the packs are hit or miss, and I'm like, what are we doing here? If I have an issue, I could submit it. And yeah, it's efficient, but I want it to work before I want it to be efficient. And here, y'all are efficient, and I was thrown off at first in the best way possible because I'm like, wow, you guys actually care that I win. And I've been able to tell a lot of the people on my team and all this, and they're like, all of them have kind of been through the same process of like, they actually care. This is rad. And my guys, anytime they have an issue, they're like, I'm like the A lab specialist for my team now. And they're like, Nick, what do I do? And I'm like, all you have to do is send a message in Discord and they'll fix it. Right. Or whatever. And it's like little things, of like, or, hey, I just want to make sure. It's rarely an issue. It's more questions. And your team is there for us. I absolutely love it. It's specifically the instant IULs have now become a standard part of our onboarding process. Once they cut their teeth on a couple, age leads or whatever, they then move to the instant IULs. And I anticipate a lot of them will not move off of it because you can pay your bills and win off of the leads here. I don't think people understand how valuable that is to know that you can pay your bills and win beyond that off of just this source of leads. Like, are you kidding me? When you really zoom out, that's profound. And you have a team of people that are going to care. They're going to talk to you, answer your questions. I have your number, dude. Like, what the? I could text you. I know it seems silly, but give me a break. Come on. That's fantastic. And if it's not you, it's somebody, Faith, or I think Teresa's helped me. Like, yeah, that's been my experience, is that you literally have a team of people that care about you winning. Where else are you going to find that? Not corporate. You know what I mean? That's been my overall sentiment of this. It is so valuable to just have access to support with all of this. And I've found with some of the other vendors I've tried that they're trying to maximize profit so much. Profit's great. That's what we're here for, right? But like, when you don't hire people to support you as a team and it's a one-man show or a one-man band, or you got one assistant and then I'm ghosted on meetings, I'm ghosted in my messages, they don't get back for a week. I can't operate at the pace of that. Whereas here, it really is, you don't want to lose me and I don't want to lose you. So I don't want mutually assured destruction. We also, like, when we do work together, we both make money. It's a win-win. And y'all clearly recognize that because you have staff. And also, they're not dumb. They rock. I wouldn't be surprised if there's moments that it seems like y'all are all on the same page too, which is also rare. So I hope y'all crush it and make more and more money every year for the long term at Agent Lead Labs, because you're doing it the right way. And I think more and more people are going to move over the years just because y'all have support and you have more than one or two people that know what they're doing. And I never feel rushed with you. Keep things simple. Simplicity is simple sells, man. I think in terms of like the skill set, it comes with how you can bring something that is potentially very complicated. Like, you could get real fancy with an IUL, real fancy. But if you can, the people that can take that and make it simple and digestible to just a normal guy, normal gal, you're going to sell a lot more. And these lead packs will be exponentially more valuable to you than it will be to someone else. Don't be so quick to blame the leads. Skill set, there's someone winning on them somewhere. Skill set's more important. And then I think really protecting your mindset. I want to say, like, have fun, but no, in all seriousness, having a good mindset, the way you look at a list of leads, that's opportunity. We're all created equal. Opportunity is not always the same per person, and everybody's got a different story. When you get a list of leads, that is so much opportunity. Cherish that while you got it. I think it's a gratitude thing. And then the last piece I would say is recognize lead flow equals cash flow. My uplines taught me that. And I was like, yeah, but I'm better. I can do this. And I would take a break and go, I just want to maximize what I got. I don't know why it always works out that way. It might be spiritual. I don't know. But if you can start stacking your lead packs at a good rhythm to where you're sometimes overlapping, but you can get a good consistent flow, you will have more peace when you sit down at your desk, and that comes through the phone. And you will reach people in a different way, and they will listen to you in a different way. Because if you're stressed and you're questioning if you're going to close today, you're questioning if you're going to pay your bills, that comes through the phone. But when hey, if for whatever reason I can't get a hold of my appointment today or something like that, I got more leads that are dripping in. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And guess what? When you're staying steady, that gets rewarded, because you're going to close an instant IUL from 3 weeks ago that has just been super busy with a project at their job. And they could finally get, I hear it all the time. Sorry, man, I've been seeing your texts, seeing your calls. I've just been so busy because we were wrapping up a project at work, something like that. I can finally get a hold of you now. I can finally sit down and look at this IUL. How can you help? And now dude, you just got to stay in the game and stay consistent, stack those lead packs, create your rhythm, and you are now a legitimate business owner, life insurance agent, broker, whatever you want to call it. You've got an awesome partnership with a whole team that's running your leads for you. You sound so cool when you say it like that. You know what I mean? Talk like you actually recognize the blessings you have around you with working like Agent Lead Labs, working with folks like you.